I wasn't supposed to hear it. I was halfway up the stairs holding a mug of tea for my wife when I froze. Her voice floated from the guest room low and sharp. "He's pathetic, Anna," she whispered. "I don't love him anymore. If he just vanished before my birthday, that'd be perfect." The mug slipped from my hand. It hit the hardwood with a hollow crack, tea splattering across my socks. Silence followed. Then her voice, trembling, cautious. "Ethan? Is that you?" I didn't answer. I just stared at the broken mug, at the slow drip of brown tea crawling toward my feet. My heart thudded so hard I thought it might burst through my chest. She came out seconds later, her phone clutched tight, eyes wide. What happened?" "I dropped it," I muttered. My voice sounded foreign, detached. "Who were you talking to?" Her lips parted, and in that fraction of a second I saw the lie form. My sister. Just venting. Her sister, Anna. That checked out. But the venom in her voice hadn't sounded like a sisterly chat. It sounded like something darker, colder. That night she acted normal. She laughed at the TV, asked about my day, kissed me goodnight. But her touch felt like frostbite. I lay awake long after she fell asleep beside me. Every time she shifted under the blanket, I flinched. "I don't love him anymore." The words replayed in my head until dawn. The next day I checked her phone. I hated myself for it. My hands shook as I scrolled through her messages, praying to find nothing. Hoping I'd misheard, misunderstood. But there it was. A chat with someone named A. "You really think you can go through with it?" "Lena, I have to. I can't live like this anymore. He doesn't even notice me." "But so when?" "Lena, before my birthday. I'll tell you the rest in person." Before her birthday. That was in 8 days. I stared at the words until they blurred. Go through with it? Go through with what? Leaving me? Or something worse? The next few days were torture. I watched her closely, too closely. Every smile, every casual glance, every phone call became evidence in my private trial against her. When she hummed while cooking, I wondered who she was really thinking of. When she said, "I love you," I wondered if she meant it. And when she left the house at odd hours saying she was meeting Anna, my stomach churned. I decided to follow her. Thursday evening. She left in a beige coat, hair tied up, phone pressed to her ear. I waited 5 minutes, then took my car and followed from a distance. She didn't go to Anna's apartment. She drove to a quiet street near the river, one lined with old townhouses and flickering lamps. She parked outside a small cafe, the Willow Nest. From my car I watched her walk in. Moments later, a man stood up from a corner table to greet her. Tall, mid-30s, dark jacket, confident. He kissed her cheek like it was routine. My throat tightened. She smiled at him, the smile she hadn't given me in months. I sat there for 2 hours barely breathing, watching them talk, laugh, touch hands. When she finally left, she looked lighter, like she'd just dropped all her burdens onto his lap. When she got home later, she hugged me. "Sorry, I was with Anna," she said. I nodded. "Yeah, I know." The next morning I called Anna. "Hey, it's Ethan," I said, trying to sound casual. "How's everything?" She hesitated. "Fine, why?" "Just checking. You and Lena hung out last night, right?" A pause. Then no. "I haven't seen her since Sunday." I closed my eyes. "Thanks." When I hung up, something inside me cracked open. The kind of crack you don't recover from. I didn't confront her right away. I needed to know who he was. A search through her phone bill revealed an unfamiliar number she texted every night. I called it from a hidden number. "Hello," a man answered. I hung up. Then I searched the number online. It led to a name, Aaron Cole, a real estate agent. 2 hours later I sat outside his office, staring through the glass. And there she was, my wife, laughing beside him at a desk, her hand brushing his arm. It wasn't just an affair. It was intimacy, comfort, partnership. I felt sick. That night I packed a small bag and drove to a motel. I didn't tell her where I was going. I just needed space to think, to breathe, to stop shaking. Around midnight my phone buzzed. "Lena. Where are you?" "Lena. Ethan, please answer me." "Lena. I'm worried." Worried. The word made me laugh bitterly. She wasn't worried about me. She was worried I'd discovered her secret. I didn't reply. At 1:12 a.m. another message came. Lena, we need to talk. It's not what you think. They always say that. The next morning I went back home. She was pacing in the kitchen, eyes red from crying. Where were you? She asked. I couldn't sleep. I thought something happened. Something did happen, I said. You happened. She froze. Ethan. Don't. Just don't. I tossed her phone on the counter. Aaron Cole. Ring any bells. Her mouth fell open. You how? I followed you, I said quietly. You told him you don't love me anymore. That you wanted me gone before your birthday. Tears welled up in her eyes. It's not like that. Then what's it like? I asked. Tell me how whispering about me vanishing fits into your marriage vows. She pressed her palms to her face. I was angry, okay? I said things I didn't mean. I laughed short, sharp, ugly. Angry enough to lie? Angry enough to meet him behind my back. She shook her head. Aaron's my ex. He came back into my life a few months ago. I shouldn't have let it happen. Let what happen? I demanded. Her silence told me everything. For a long time neither of us spoke. Just the sound of our breathing filled the kitchen, heavy and uneven. Finally she whispered, Ethan, I'm sorry. I didn't sleep with him. We just talked. I was confused. I felt like we'd become strangers. I never planned to hurt you. Then what was the plan? I asked softly. To string me along until you were sure he wanted you back? She looked up at me then, truly looked, and I saw fear, regret, love, and guilt all tangled in her eyes. I didn't know how to stop it, she said. He made me feel seen again. But when I realized what I was risking, I told him it was over. Liar, I said. But my voice cracked halfway through. Please, Ethan. She reached for me. I ended it. That's why I was crying that night. That's why I said I didn't love him anymore. I meant him, not you. Her explanation hit me like a wave. Half hope, half disbelief. Could she be telling the truth? Had I misunderstood? I wanted to believe her. God, I did. But trust once broken doesn't repair with apologies. It seeps out of you slowly, until you're left hollow. For days I drifted through the house like a ghost. She tried, cooked my favorite meals, left notes on the mirror, begged for forgiveness, but every gesture felt like an echo of something lost. One evening she came to me with a small box. Inside was a photo of us from our wedding day, the frame cracked but still intact. I was going to leave this for you, she said quietly. On my birthday. I thought, if you left me, at least you'd have something to remember us by. Her hands trembled. But I don't want you to leave. I stared at the photo, her laughing in my arms, both of us too young to imagine betrayal. I don't know if I can stay, I whispered. Tears streamed down her cheeks. Then let me earn it. Please. Her birthday came. She didn't celebrate. No candles, no guests. Just the two of us sitting in silence, a cake untouched between us. Halfway through the night she finally spoke. Aaron called. I didn't answer. I nodded. Good. She wiped her eyes. I blocked him. For good this time. And for the first time in weeks I believed her. Not because of her words, but because of the exhaustion in her face, the rawness that can't be faked. Months passed. We tried counseling. We rebuilt. Slowly, painfully. Some days I thought we might actually make it. Other days I caught her staring at nothing, lost in thought, and the ache returned. Healing wasn't linear, but it was real. One morning I found a note on my nightstand. You may never trust me the same way again. I understand that. But I'll spend every day proving that you can. It wasn't forgiveness that followed. It was something quieter, acceptance. A year later, on the night before her next birthday, we sat on the porch watching the rain. She took my hand. Do you still think about it? She asked. Every day, I said honestly. But it hurts less now. She nodded. Me too. The silence that followed wasn't awkward this time. It was heavy but peaceful, like two people standing in the ruins of something beautiful, realizing there's still ground to rebuild on. I looked at her then, really looked. She wasn't the same woman I'd married. But then again, I wasn't the same man. Maybe that's what love becomes after betrayal. Not blind trust, not complete repair, but the fragile decision to stay and see what remains. And though I'd never forget the night I heard her whisper those words, I don't love him anymore. If he vanished before my birthday, that'd be perfect. I understood now what they really meant. She hadn't been planning my disappearance. She'd been mourning his. And in that strange broken way, it had been the beginning of ours again.